welcome to the 2020 Student Trustee Candidate Forum. My name is Amber Olson, and I'm a liberal arts student here at 4Cs. I have an interest in politics and social justice. So this year, with the upcoming presidential debate, I'm sure, like many of you, I've been wondering how I can make a difference. What can I do to impact positive change? One way is to get out and vote and have your voice heard. The smaller we get in local governments and positions, like the position of student trustee, the more weight your vote carries. So this forum is significant because student trustee position is a position of great importance. This is your representative, your advocate. This student will be your voice and has the power to make decisions that will affect you in your college experience directly. So this is democracy in action, and your involvement in this process is imperative. The student elections will be taking place on the 28th. The national presidential election will be taking place November 3rd. If you have not already done so, you still have time to register to vote. So tonight we have two candidates for you. We have Colleen Ellis coming from Bryant University and Max Kennedy. Both candidates are from Barnstable High School. This evening's forum will consist of our candidates' opening statements, followed by 3 questions in a Q&A portion of the forum, where you, as the audience members, will have an opportunity to ask questions to our candidates. We also have a video explaining the importance of the position and what a student trustee actually does. So stay tuned for that video.
Hello, I'm John Cox, president of Cape Cod Community College.
Hello, I'm Lindsay White, the Vice President of Student Government Association here at Cape Cod Community College. I look forward to creating a legacy here by amending Mass law regarding student trustees. Student trustees are among the most critical yet underutilized resources on a college campus. A student trustee's primary role is to bring the diversity of student perspectives into the college boardroom. Did you know that the majority, about 2/3 of our community college students, are part-time? Community college caters to the needs of over 50% of students in the Commonwealth. They are underserved demographics in our community colleges that are part-time and do not have the same opportunity that full-time students have access to, like running for student trustee. Over the last decade, the Commonwealth has seen a changing trend of full-time students to part-time status. The enrollment data suggests that there are many factors to why students are going part-time instead of full-time. Looking at this trend through an equity lens gives us the perspective that the underserved demographics of community college students are struggling with finances, family obligations, housing, and maintaining full-time jobs to survive as a student.
The changing trend in student enrollment from full-time to part-time has been identified as a leading cause of low student engagement. By reducing the credit requirement for student trustees to part-time, it would increase the eligibility to about 3/4 of the student populations within all demographics. The reduced credit requirement would provide a greater opportunity for diverse voices to be heard within our communities. This would be a major step in closing the equity gap on our campuses.
Due to COVID-19 pandemic, forcing campuses to go remote has led to a dramatic decrease in student involvement. Currently at 4Cs, our student trustee had to resign from their position. As we hold a rushed election, we are still battling the full-time requirement to obtain a student trustee. It is now harder than ever to get an eligible candidate to be an elected member of the Board of Trustees.
Legislators, with your support in amending the Massachusetts general law regarding student trustees, you would be allowing a voice to those in our communities. We propose to reduce the Mass General Law trustee credit requirement to a part-time requirement. Student member eligibility shall be established by the number of credit hours and the grade point average established by the Board of Higher Education in conjunction with the institutions and their Board of Trustees. Thank you all very much. Well done.
Okay. Well, thank you, SGA and Lindsay White, for that video. Tonight, I will be your moderator along with JP Britt, who will be facilitating the audience questions to the candidates at the end of this forum. So now let's begin the forum. I'll start with the candidates' opening statements. So, Colleen Ellis, we'd like to hear your opening statement.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Lindsay, and thank you so much again for this opportunity to run for this esteemed position. So as you know, my name is Colleen Ellis. I'm 19 years old, and this is my first semester here at Cape Cod Community College. Right now, I'm a communications major, and I'm enjoying my time here so far. I'm running for this position of student trustee because of my prior experience on various boards and committees. Serving on the Barnstable School Committee for 1 year, and then the student government at Bryant University provided me the necessary skills to be a student trustee. I feel as though this position is the next step in my career as I hope to be an elected official someday. Maybe Cape Cod, maybe even bigger than that. I don't know, I guess the world's my oyster. Being an advocate for others is something that has long been my passion, and I hope to bring my skills as a student leader onto the Board of Trustees for this institution. I believe greatly in advocacy and caring about others, and I know that I'll be able to take those skills as well with me on the Board of Trustees. Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you, Colleen. And Max, we'd like to hear your statement.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the question. So, I want to tell you guys a little bit about me. So, I have been recently diagnosed with anxiety. It's been something that has followed me my whole life, but I haven't necessarily found out about it until just my junior year of high school, which is actually pretty impeccable to just find out then, in my opinion. I've been put on an IEP for my entire schooling, and this has taken me out of classrooms, and I know how it feels to be at a lower level of learning. I'm a deeper thinker. Some people say I overthink, but you know, I don't know about that. I'm honest. I really don't know how to lie. I am understanding of absolutely any place that, you know, any situation could possibly go. Sometimes I take a longer time to understand things than most, but I'm okay with being different. What makes you different makes you powerful, and we're all different, so therefore all powerful. I call all of this internal anxiety. I bottle life up inside, and I've let it eat me alive for my entire life. But I do stay mindful and am optimistic always. Thank you.
Thank you, Max, for your statement. And we'll start with the questioning. So the role of student trustee exists to give a voice to the entire student body, especially those who feel like they don't have a voice. How will you ensure you are representing all voices on campus? Colleen?
Absolutely. Thank you again for the question. So one of the things that's super, super important to me is to make sure that students understand that I'm a really approachable person. You know, I'm never one to turn down ideas or say, no, that's not something that's super important. Because if it's important enough to be brought to my attention, it's important enough to be brought to the attention to the Board of Trustees as well. I want to meet with club presidents monthly to make sure that I'm reaching all different diverse communities of campus here at Cape Cod Community College. There are so many clubs and organizations, and there's so many different types of people here. I want to make sure that I do my due diligence in making sure that I get in contact with everybody that I absolutely can. I plan to practice my empathy skills daily and ask the right questions to students. I want to ensure that all students understand that they are valid just like their concerns. Also want to assure students that my passion is to help others and likewise advocate for others and that their concerns will be addressed. And I really do care about them. I also think it would be a great initiative for the role of the student trustee. I think it would be great if they held office hours like a lot of our professors do. I find office hours super, super helpful when you're really struggling with something or just want someone to talk to. I think if the student trustee held office hours where students can come to them with their concerns would be an excellent implication of this position. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. And Max, the role of student trustee exists to give a voice to the entire student body, though, especially those who feel like they don't have a voice. How will you ensure you are representing all voices on campus?
Appreciate this one. So since I do have anxiety, I can relate to the overthinkers, the thoughts that no one thinks they can voice. I've been through that many times and through many volumes. I've actually, a tip I like to use is that you can create a list or document a list rather, on your phone in your notes. And this has been the way that I have competed with the struggles in my life. So I will listen comprehensively to students' needs. I will take them and I will put them into areas of help that is needed. And from there, then we can start our real journey to greatness. And I will also incorporate that in which I struggle with and have struggled with and have written down in my notes, and I will bring them up in my statements and any interaction I have with students to see if others relate with me and go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Max, for your answer on that question. So, what do you feel is the biggest problem facing the student body this semester due to operating remotely? Colleen?
Thank you so much again for that awesome question. I believe that the biggest issue facing students this semester is the lack of connectivity with peers. As someone who is local, I am so very privileged to know at least a few people in each of my classes whom I went to high school with. It is very difficult to make friends in this virtual world that we live in currently. Of course, at the collegiate level, we're here to learn first, of course. But who can you talk to when you forget what the homework is? Who can you speak to and vent to when the assignment is so difficult? How do you get in contact with your group members? But most importantly, who can you count on after this semester ends and you can count on for the rest of your time here at Cape Cod Community College? COVID stripped us students here at Cape Cod Community College, and of course the rest of the United States and even the world, of our chance to easily make friendships right now. I know students feel alone and stuck in their bedrooms. I do all the time. We must get through this together and boost morale. We need to make more virtual friends and we need to push for programs in which we bring each other together because this becomes a mental health issue. This becomes an isolation issue. And we need to make sure that we're looking out for each other. We need to make sure that we're connecting with each other and just trying to get that one little bit of piece of normal, even if it's a FaceTime call or a text message. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. And Max, same question. So what do you feel is the biggest problem facing the student body this semester due to operating remotely?
Appreciate that question. So much like Colleen, I believe it's a lack of connectivity. It's a sociability deficit. It's classroom you are no longer in a legitimate classroom. Therefore, you have people that are allowed to hide behind screens, and it's as simple as just clicking a button and, taking off maybe just 2 clicks, first the mute and then the camera off. But other than that, as Colleen said, mental health. When you're in a classroom, if you think about it, you get to know people because you're close proximity with them. And now, you know, you get breakout rooms every now and then, but that's not enough. And I think it's a lack of deepness between students, and they cannot interact with each other. And you are allowed to hide behind the curtains, if you will. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. And I'd like to thank the candidates. And now I would like to introduce JP Britt, who will be facilitating the question and answer portion of this forum. JP?
Hey, thank you, Amber. We're going to go to the question and answer section from our audience. Any individual that has a question, enter it in the chat box, and I'd be glad to facilitate it to the candidates. All right, so we have our first question coming in. It's for both candidates. It's, how would you handle disagreement at a board meeting? Let's go to Max.
All right, thank you for that question. So disagreement, when there's disagreement, there's opposition. And when there's opposition, there's answers. And we would take those answers and we would put them in a column of sorts. And from there, we could, let's see. So if you were to disagree with me on something, I believe that I would be as understanding as possible. You know, I wouldn't shoot you down. I wouldn't, let's see. I wouldn't shoot you down. I'd let you speak your mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Colleen, how would you handle a disagreement at a board meeting?
Thank you for that question. So with disagreements at board meetings, it can be really difficult as a student to move forward with disagreements because you think, I don't want to step out of line, you know, I'm just a student representative. No, you are a member on the board of trustees. It's important to advocate for those students, especially if it's something that you brought up, but it's also super important to be civil, to be respectful, and to make sure that you stand your ground. You can be autonomous with your views, but also open to other people's views and ideas as well. It's important to not always be so closed-minded. Sometimes you're wrong. And sometimes you're right and you need to stand for what you believe in. But at the same time, everyone is valid, everyone matters, and it's really important to respect everyone, especially those on the board of trustees and the students' concerns that you brought up to them. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, candidates, for your good responses. Our next question is, it's for both candidates. What are your plans for supporting clubs throughout Cape Cod Community College? We'll start off with Colleen.
Thank you. So absolutely. So like I said earlier, one thing I really want to do is meet with club presidents monthly and talk about, you know, what are your specific concerns on campus? I think that's a really great way to not only get to know people on campus, but get to know the clubs on campus and to make sure I'm directly supporting the clubs on campus, because the clubs on campus are what make Cape Cod Community College so great. Of course, there's so many different things and not just the Burger King right down the road, right? Cape Cod Community College is such an amazing place with so many enrichments and things that just make it so great. And I know the clubs are something that I absolutely will support and make sure that I am a huge contact point for them and I work with them individually and directly. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Max, what would be your plan to support the clubs throughout Cape Cod Community College?
Sure. So I really appreciate Colleen's response. To pick up where she left off, you know, clubs are started from someone or joined with someone who has a passion in that sort of field. So having a communication monthly, like Colleen said, having that with students that really want to be doing what they're doing, I think that's really smart.
Cool, thank you, Max. Our next question is also for both candidates from the audience. Do you think there is a stigma around being a part-time student? Max, we'll start off with you.
let's see. So the stigma with the part-time. I I would love to have that question more in depth.
Yeah, it's like how it's like if someone's going to school part-time, like do you think there's a stigma surrounding that, or do you think there isn't and they align with the others?
Oh, I see. So full-time is four credits plus, I believe, right? And it's if someone's taking one credit or one course rather, that it's probably they're at another school or but yeah, if you're taking four, you're full-time 4Cs, and if you're taking one, I'd say you're maybe at another school, maybe not in school, and brushing up.
All right, thanks. Thank you, Max. Colleen, do you think there's a stigma surrounding part-time students? Or
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah, no problem. You're all right.
So I like to think there isn't, but I think a really important part of this trustee position is looking outside from my perspective. I think that maybe there used to be a stigma of, you know what? A lot of these people have families, a lot of these people work full time, and they don't have a lot of time for school, and that's why they don't go to school full time. But that's not true. People who go to school part time have amazing time management skills. They can organize their days based on work, based on childcare, based on, whatever is taking up that time on their plate that they can't take that extra full credit class. Some people are just here to brush up on skills. I know we have some students who are a part of the elderly community who are just taking classes to enrich their lives. My grandfather took a medical terminology class here a while ago just to get a little bit better at his job at the Cape Cod Hospital. So I think there might be a stigma around students doing full time, but I don't think that should bring them down. I think it's really important to break that stigma and understand that these people have great time management, they're passionate about learning, and that's why they're still here. They're still learning, they're taking classes, whether it's one class, whether it's, 10 credits, no matter what it is, they're driven, they're here, and they're ready to learn. And I think they deserve the trustee position just as much as a full-time student. Thank you again.
Cool. Thank you, both candidates. The next question's a good one. Directed towards both candidates. What is your motivation behind running for the student trustee position? We'll start off with Colleen.
All right, thank you again for that awesome question. So when I was in high school, I got elected to the Barnstable High School School Committee. I served as liaison between the students and the school committee. It was great. Every week I gave a report. I didn't miss a single meeting, and it really sparked the fire in my belly for representing students to a board of non-students. It can be difficult. It's a little bit different than I thought it was going to be when I went into it, but I knew that it was something I really wanted to do, and it made me want to be a politician someday. So that was my senior year of high school. My freshman year of college, I attended Bryant University this past year. And I ran immediately for student government because I wanted to be that voice for students because I loved it so much in high school. And I got elected to 2 terms. Unfortunately, of course, I had to transfer here, but it's not unfortunate at all because I'm so grateful to be here. I loved running for office, and I just loved meeting new people, hearing concerns, learning about campus. It was just an amazing experience for me, and I want to continue with that experience and help students here as well. I feel like that's what I transferred here to do, That's what I'm at the higher level of education to do. I'm here to advocate for students, learn how to best do it, and someday maybe graduate, and who knows, maybe I'll run for president. I don't know. Shoot for this, shoot for the moon, you'll land among the stars, right? Thank you again.
That's right, Colleen. Max, what's your motivation behind running for student trustee?
It's kind of philosophical. Mine is it's about life. It's my motto. It's if I can help, just a few people and maybe change a negative behavior to more positive. That would do it for me. And if I could change, my goal is to change a few people's lives, and I could surpass my goal in volumes if I were the student trustee and here with the students at the campus of 4Cs. And helping people is the only thing that I think I want to do for the rest of my life. And sounds like a brilliant start to me. So that's my motivation. And thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Max. The next question is, so considering the majority of students aren't joining clubs due to COVID-19, how would you connect with those students who are not participating in those clubs? We'll start off with Max.
So those who are not participating in clubs, So I know the feeling. It's you really want to do something you're passionate about, but it's a little scary because you can't interact with people, and interactions with people are what makes the world. And joining, it would be something that would have to be more accepted, and that's something I plan to do as student trustee.
Thank you, Max. The next question is, what do you think one student interest in particular that needs to be either protected or brought to light? What is one student interest in particular that you think should be protected or needs to be brought to life? We'll go to Colleen.
Absolutely. Thank you again for that awesome question. So I think one student that needs to be brought into light would definitely be the value of students' identity and sexual orientation. I think it's really, really important for students to feel validated at all times on campus. That includes, using proper pronouns, respecting each other's space, saying kind things, making sure that students feel welcomed here no matter what their sexual orientation, their identity, their gender, any of that stuff. It's so important to make sure that all walks of life feel so welcome here at Cape Cod Community College. And I want to make sure that all students feel the same way. I want to make sure that all students, I guess log in. I guess they're not walking around campus right now, but I want to make sure that all students log into their Zoom classes feeling welcomed, feeling great about who they are. And I want to make sure that if I'm elected to the student trustee position, that I make sure that students feel validated and feel important, because every student here and every student ever is super, super important. Thank you.
Awesome. We'll go to our last question. It's going to be towards each individual. What exactly does empathy mean to you? What exactly does it mean? We'll start with Max.
This may be my favorite question of the day. So, to me, it means a kinder world. And to elaborate a little on that, and to center the focus on 4Cs, a kinder campus. So my father and I have been in the creation and the documentation of a book. My dad and I are co-authors of this book, and it's about kindness. It's about how the concept of random acts of kindness are perceived as just happenstance. And yes, the place and the time can be random, but the intent behind the act is completely intentional. So to answer it more on a surface level and a definition level, it's understanding exactly what someone's going through. And I have an example. This morning, I had a speech coincidentally about the empathy deficit. And I had this debate today and was not in the right frame of mind to have a presentation on this speech quite this morning. Mind you, it was about 10. but my teacher usually has a 10 points off policy. And because she knows exactly what I'm going through, she hooked me up with a freebie. That's empathy to me.
Max, I appreciate it. So Colleen, how would you answer this last question? What exactly does empathy mean to you? Go.
Absolutely. So this is a final question, you said?
Yep, exactly. What does empathy mean to you?
Okay.
Deeply, what does it mean?
So for me, empathy means using your heart instead of your brain to understand another person's situation that you have no experience in being in yourself. It means taking the time to put yourself in someone else's shoes and not only listen to them, but hear them and know the difference between the two. I think it's key in understanding others in your community. If elected to the student trustee position, I will take my empathy skills a step farther and make it my mission to be that go-to person that other students can come to with concerns, issues, or even if they just need a friend. I'll make myself approachable to all walks of student life and be a driving force for their opinions to be heard at meetings. But I'd also like to take it a step even further and be completely transparent with my process and make sure that students actually see their concerns all matter greatly to me, and that I will advocate and strive towards success for them. I plan on ensuring communication with my peers and never turn down any student body comment. And I'd like to bring home that point that I always keep bringing up, that everyone and every concern is so incredibly valid. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Both candidates, thank you. And thank you to the audience for your good questions. I'm going to hand things over back to Amber, who's done a great job. She's going to close things out for us. Amber, go ahead.
Hi, okay, thank you, JP, for doing the Q&A portion of the debate. And thank you to both of our candidates. Max Kennedy, thank you so much. Colleen, thank you. So a couple of things that I'd just like to remind the students. Again, our election for the our our election for the student trustee is going to be October 28th. So get your votes in by then. The national election for the national presidential election is happening November 3rd. There's still time to register to vote for that as well. So get out there and make your voice heard. Another thing is that we have additional resources on campus for students. So we have a wellness office on campus. You can reach that online via your Moodle page as well. And there are resources for students who are struggling with mental health at this time that are still available via Zoom. There's also a collegiate recovery club that will provide additional support. Additionally, Farmers to Families is going to be happening this Saturday at the college from 9 to 1. So if you or someone you know is in need, please drop by. And I'd like to again thank the candidates, thank SGA, and thank JP.